My name is Erica Rose Crone, and I manage a kickboxing studio. Before I became a kickboxing instructor, I was an actor for almost 10 years. I think I knew from a pretty young age that I wanted to be a performer, an actress, a singer, a dancer. I wanted to do it all. I used to play like concert and choreography with my sisters, and I would make them put on performances for my parents I think the earliest I remember is like 4 and 5 years old. So I think I always kind of knew. I think I always kind of knew from the time I was really little. There were no other options for me other than being an actor, other than being a performer. I love the idea of getting on stage and singing a song and getting an emotional response from the audience. Once I transitioned more into film, I love the idea of really kind of digging into a character and being able to understand why their mind would work a certain way, or being able to put my own spin on it of what I think that they would say or do in a position. So I think just really all aspects of that kind of creative process I really enjoyed. I don't necessarily know if it was one moment or just a collection of smaller moments that made me not want to pursue acting anymore. But I think around the time that I got offered the management position was when I kind of knew that I was done. There was not really any sense of wanting to continue, at least at that point. And I think that was a lot of little small moments that kind of led into that kind of bigger decision to step away. When I made the decision to switch career paths, when I was thinking about it, there was a lot of fear that came with change. The idea of switching to something totally different, obviously I didn't want to fail. So there was, some fear with that, thinking if I could even do it. But I think the biggest fear that I had was disappointing the people that had been so supportive of my acting career. So there was a lot of fear that went into it, but on top of that fear, and I think that was even more prevalent, was the excitement of trying something new and the opportunities that could come with being successful in doing that. I wouldn't say that I have any regrets from moving away from acting. I'm really happy with where I am now. I'm happy with the things that I've accomplished. I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've had. I think if anything, I have nostalgia, but I don't necessarily think I have any regrets. I gave it 100% when I was doing it, and when the time came where I was offered something else, I was in a headspace to walk away from it. So I don't feel like I left it too early or left kind of stones unturned. Yeah, I think about that transition very positively. My relationship with my husband was actually is really a big part of why I do what I do. And I don't necessarily say that our relationship was affected in any major capacity other than that of I think most relationships. When the person that you're spending your life with is in a good place and is happy and enjoys what they do, obviously you want to spend more time with them and they're more enjoyable to be around. And I think towards the end of me actively auditioning and really pursuing acting as a career, I wasn't happy. And so I'm sure, I wasn't the easiest person to kind of interact with. But when the opportunity came up for me to kind of make this transition and move into this new position, Michael was really supportive, and he's always been my biggest fan. He's always, told me I can do anything that I put my mind to. And so, obviously I was scared and I was nervous about taking on a responsibility like this, but he just encouraged me that I was going to do a great job and that he was going to be supportive in any way that he could be. And I mean, a lot of the growth that I've had in the last 3 years as being in this position has been me being able to go home and kind of rattle things off to him, get his perspective. We are very much a yin and yang, so he's been a really great asset in this transition. Kickboxing has changed me and has changed my personal life in so many ways. And I mean, I, as an actor, was very self-conscious, very much so self-deprecating. And I think most performers are that way. You get told no 1,000 times and you get one yes. And that whole time going through that rejection can really do a number on your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. And so I didn't really ever have a lot of confidence. I didn't really ever have belief in myself, and being able to kind of fall into kickboxing and how it helped to build my confidence and really give me a purpose has just been a blessing that I never could have anticipated. I really just thought I was walking into this job to get a decent paycheck and make sure I could pay my bills, and walked out with an amazing community and some really awesome changes in the way that I handle myself and the way that I think about myself and feel about myself as well. I love so many things about kickboxing from an exercise standpoint. I love how it makes me feel, with my self-confidence and just really feeling like a badass and feeling like I can take on the world. It's not something that a lot of people do. And so, from that perspective, I enjoy it as a hobby and as a passion. Specifically with being manager of this location, I've been at this location for 3 years now and have seen it through 2 ownerships, another manager, lots of staff. And I think a couple of things that I really enjoy about the position is one, what it has brought into my personal life and how I've been able to grow and learn how to communicate with people and how to really look for the best in people and give people the ability to reach their full potential. And of course, as somebody who's an A-type personality, I also enjoy the fact that I get to influence what happens in here daily. I enjoy the interactions with my members. I enjoy taking the feedback. I enjoy putting ideas out on the table and seeing if they'll be successful. And when they are successful, obviously it's a really great ego boost. So there's a lot of things that I really enjoy about the management position that I hold, and I'm really thankful of the lessons that it's taught me along the way. I think if somebody is considering a career change, obviously that's a scary step to go through, but I would definitely be encouraging in the sense that you never really know if something is going to work for you or if you're going to enjoy it unless you try. And that was one of the things when I was pursuing acting that I was really adamant about. I made a lot of sacrifices. I turned down a lot of personal life things in order to kind of facilitate the perfect scope to be able to say yes to anything because I didn't want to have any regrets. And me making the decision to go from something that I had poured into for, 10 years and change it was a risk, but I don't regret it. And I think that I'm a better person for it. So I would just encourage anyone that's thinking about doing a career change to really look and see why you want to do that and what you're missing now, because you might be able to fill those missing pieces with that change and you won't know unless you try. You can always go back. Things are always going to be there. You can always take a step backward if you need to, but if you don't take the opportunity to kind of jump and leap and have some faith with it, you'll never know what could have been.